ways to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast. Welcome back, everybody. This is Lautimes, the only podcast in the world talking about Tigres in the English language. We're back tonight on Monday night, not on Tuesday night this week, as we recap a pretty frustrating last couple of games on the men's side, a rare draw for the women, and we look ahead to the games this week. We've got most of the crew here tonight. Very happy to be joined by the Ted Lasso to my Coach Beard, Mr. Lou Pop, a.k.a. Tigres_English. How are you, my friend? Let me pull you up. There you are. How are you?
What's up, man? Great to be here. Great to take some time out of my day to chat some football with you guys.
Absolutely. The pride of Corpus Christi, AJ, is in the house back with us tonight after a week off last week. How are you?
I'm doing good.
The troll. I love this. Is going to be our bit every week. That's so great. And lastly, for now, we may have some more of the guys join us here in a little bit, but a guy who we have missed dearly on this show for his takes, for his just general personality. I'm so happy he's back. Joining us live from Mexico, Tigres takes himself, Alfred, in the house, enjoying some choco flan, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Right there.
Pasteleria
Leti.
Hashtag sponsored.
We're competing Peyo, but instead of Pasteleria Katy, we're doing the Pasteleria Leti over here.
Do we need to find the Monkey Papas competitor too while we're at it?
Gorilla Papas or something like that, and then
Gorilla Papas is
and Nado all out instead.
Man, well, yeah, hashtag sponsored. Also, hashtag sponsored my snack, which is these cookies, Mexican wedding cookies.
Wedding
from Siete.
That's an actual flavor.
Yeah, bro.
Those are good, actually.
Delicious,
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
please sponsor us, Siete. That'd be great. You guys should stop sponsoring Austin FC and come sponsor Lautimes. I think that would be really great. Yeah, we hopefully will be joined by I don't know though later, and maybe Edgar as well. But at least for now, it is the four of us. Thank you for joining us. If you're here watching live on Twitter and on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, do us a favor and like this stream, retweet, repost this stream, share it with people. We want more of y'all to join us tonight. We want the chat to be lively. So come hang out with us. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor and share this link with anybody that you may know that would like this, like the stream, and subscribe if you haven't already. We are like 15-ish, 16 subscribers away from 50 subscribers on YouTube. And I think it'd be great if we got to 50 by the end of the week. So if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, even if you're not watching on YouTube right now, if you're listening back on podcast later, or if you're on Twitter, go subscribe to our YouTube and let's get to 50 by the end of the week. That's y'all's challenge if you're in the audience. So again, thanks for joining us. And all you podcast people, thanks for joining us. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple, if you haven't already. And if you're a Spotify user, I haven't said this in a while, comment while the episode's going on. We can see comments as you post them online on Spotify. And before we get going, we are joined by the father of the pod, the godfather himself, Arnoldo. There he is.
What's up, man? How are you?
What's up? Good.
How we doing, fellas?
Good. We're all
Pretty
jealous
good. Nice
of
to see
Alfred
you,
and his
Arnoldo.
choco flan. So
Oh, wow.
don't you wish you had that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get going. We have two games that felt very similar from last week on the men's side that we need to discuss. First is the draw against Chivas and the draw against Pumas. Scoreless draw on Wednesday against Chivas, and then a last gasp equalizer from Angel Correa off a missed penalty on Saturday at Pumitas. These games felt really similar in a lot of ways, where it was just like Correa and 9 dudes basically, except for Nahuel made some big saves throughout the week. in both games, and Romulo was probably the only other person who did anything worthwhile. So I'm gonna start with Lou. Just your thoughts on this week and the general frustration that I think a lot of the fan base is feeling right now towards the lack of goals, the sort of lack of intensity within the side right now.
You guys probably remember this conversation we had a couple weeks back, and I said if we don't take care of the mental aspect after the string of bad luck that we've had, we're gonna end up paying for it. And I think it's finally come due. We were unlucky against Mazatlan. We were unlucky against León, but you know, these last two games, I think that the team has regressed a lot. The Chivas game was bad. The the game against Pumas was bad. This team, I think we've been saying it all along. When the wingers don't play, the team just doesn't function. And we've had really bad wing play, and that includes the fullbacks as well. I think we put a lot of blame on Osiel Herrera at times. And you know, Lainez, I felt like Lainez had a decent season up until like the last four games, and now he's dipping again, which is sad because he had been fairly consistent. So, you know, I think it just goes to show that right now we just don't have anybody around Correa to really help him out. He's having to carry this team, unfortunately. And so it was a really boring game. I mean, if we're just being honest, it was a boring game. It was one of those like I was like super sleepy and barely managed to stay up through it. I had to like force myself. There was just not a lot of action. It's tough to watch when your offensive players don't take any risk at all. There was no intent to go 1v1. There was no attempt to dribble past anybody. So the entire night, it was just a really boring thing to watch, and it's horrendous. So I think, you know, justifiably so, the fans are angry right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, I think I've said this multiple times throughout this season. It's just this team, this iteration of the team. I mean, there's some guys who are still here from 2023, but the reality is a lot of these guys haven't done anything since they joined Tigres, and so it's not like you can just kind of coast through the regular season and just turn it on in the year. I mean, the ceiling is not high for this team at all, and you just can't really bank on them flipping a switch when we get to late November, early December. It's just not going to happen, I think. So it's frustrating to see that these games are not like they're not being taken as seriously as I feel like they could be. Um, let's continue with I guess the negatives. I mean, there's not a lot of positives to go with the last couple weeks. So I'll kick it over to you, AJ, next, since we haven't heard from you since a couple weeks ago. The midfield. You know, we saw variations in the midfield throughout the week. Um, is it just that the midfield ceiling is also not that high, or do you wish to see more, especially from Brunetta and Goriaran? I thought Goriaran had a bad week, to be honest. Just not really impressed with his leadership and with his play on the field. Just talk to me about him and just kind of really what's been a lackluster season for him and Brunetta dipping in form over the last few weeks as well.
I think with Brunetta, the struggles with him is we're playing him out of position. We're letting him drop too far back. He's not a player that, you know, he needs to be up top rather than coming back. With Fernando, it's just we have him playing a position that's not his natural position, and it's a tall ask. But again, this goes onto the board for letting this squad be depleted like this. You know, I think when y'all were talking about the rumor of the was it the Cruz Azul old coach or the
Cool.
one
And
that
Yeah,
Selby,
Anselmi,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If it were true, whatever manager comes to this squad, it's gonna be the same problem. Like it's gonna be the same thing. Like It's not a manager that's the problem. It's the board for holding on to these players for so long. They pay them so much, and no team wants to take to pay the salary for a loan or to pay the price. So I just think right now the two players like Brunetta and Gorian, like we have them playing too much. Like they have no rest because we have no one that we can trust to put into those positions. So yeah, the midfield's a problem. It's definitely regressed, and it's something that needs to be addressed.
Alfred, I want to kick it to you because I think I want you to bring the perspective of not just the last couple weeks, but even just this whole season so far. I know that it's been a while since you've been able to actually join us for an episode for more than 5 minutes, besides your little beach cameo a few weeks back, which was hilarious. What has been the most disappointing thing for you? I mean, I think there's a lot of disappointment up to this point. There's been enough tape. There's been enough evidence as to why this team is not that good. What is the most disappointing aspect? Is it the play? Is it a certain position on the field? Is it a certain player or players? What are you pointing to the most? It's like, this is the reason why we're not fully at our best.
It's hard to pinpoint. It's hard to pinpoint because you have, like AJ said, I mean, the problem starts at the top, from the board not doing, not just this preseason, but, for the last year and a half, they've seen the necessity of the team. They knew that our team was getting old. They knew that there was these players that were, their contracts were about to expire. They knew we needed these positions. And, even though they came out and said to the press that, hey, we just don't want to, do any last minute shopping. What last minute shopping, bro? You've had like a year and a half to fill these positions. This isn't no last minute shopping mistake. This is just, you've been incompetent, for the longest. So you start at the top, and then you take it to the coaching, which of course, a lot of people, and you see it all over online, are blaming Pizarro. And even though he's a new coach, and he's getting the hang of it in all honesty of what he needs to do. He's been trying. We just talked about how the midfield, he's made some changes. He rested Bruneta for the Chivas game, and then he rested Gorriaran for this last game. So he's tried, to make some changes. He put in Cordova in the Chivas game. Sometimes he's putting in Ibanez, sometimes he's putting in Gacelo. Now he's trying Farfan on the left. We asked him to sit down. Aquino, he sat him down, and now he tried Garza on the right. So like he's doing things, he's trying things, right? But I think what I'm most upset about with Pizarro is just the fact that he did not do enough with the board during preseason. He did not ask enough of them, and he still comes out, to the press, and he's still saying, "Oh, I have a great team. Oh, I can do it with this team. Like this is this is a team that we can take it all the way with." And how can you even say that? Like why would you say that? You're literally just shooting yourself in the foot. And then you go down to the players, and just all around, no matter who you could throw a rock into that locker room, and you'll hit somebody that's not doing good. That's literally it. You have Nahuel, you have Correa, and standout. Just the last 3 games, Suarez has been standing out, but that's all you have. You literally just have per game like one standout, 2 standouts, and you can't do much when the rest of the team just slacks and just they're not just taking minutes off, they're taking entire games off. The attitude that I see in a lot of these players is just, man, it's depressing. It's depressing because we honestly had, like you said, Dennis, we had players that yeah, they could take it easy during the regular season, but then came Liguilla and they would flip a switch and they would turn it on, and you knew that was going to happen. You absolutely know that that's not going to happen with these players. A lot of these players have hit their ceiling, and it's unfortunate, but it's what we got. And like AJ said, no matter who comes along, it's going to be the same as long as all these players stay.
All right, Arnoldo, I'll kick it to you because I feel like, based on your comments on Saturday, I think you're going to come with some fire tonight,
Oh,
which I'm looking forward to it.
we're past it. We're past it. I
Come on,
just...
bring the heat. No, but my question for you is 1.6 expected goals combined in the last 2 games. How has that problem from last year not been fixed this year? And what needs to happen now at this point in order to see if anything could change? Like, are we at the territory where we're gonna have to start Uriel Antuna at some point this week just to like see what happens? Like, is anything drastic gonna change in order for that number to go back up like it was at the beginning of the season?
Well, 2 things there. If it's gonna change, unsure. Would I like it to change? Yes. I think that you're at a point that you definitely need to try different things. Obviously, players, to some everybody's points of view today, everybody's form dropped. We talked about Linus, being consistent or somewhat involved and in high form was happening. Osiel Herrera was happening. Brunetta was moving along, even playing out of position, but we were still able to make things happen. I think they just took a mental toll on also just the overall like fatigue, as well as that's kind of what the behavior that we've been accustomed to over the last few seasons. We haven't seen consistency all around from the younger players that I just mentioned, and so now you get to a point again where you have to try things or write it out, right? And so I feel like he's closer to writing it out than making any drastic changes, because it's still giving them enough to at least hang on and stay in the middle of the pack per se.
Who would you write it out with, Gacelo or Ibanez?
Gacelo. I think that at this point, Ibanez has just a very mental block. I think that there's so many things that he's been hurt. He's been a player that has been given the chance. He's scored the goals at times. He scored great goals at times. He's missed sitters. I think that he's been around quite a bit for us to now truly to move on from him. I think that it was a missed opportunity this past season, at least to see what was out there. Not sure if it was even explored, but I get why it wasn't a guaranteed move just because of insurance purposes. You had to write it out in case whatever you were counting on Gignac to be giving you, it hasn't happened. He's hurt. Gacelo Lopez is a bench player that was coming over from the defending champ, so doesn't guarantee you that it's going to produce your results. So I think at this point, like it's fair to assume that it's all mental, and no matter how it goes, if he starts, we're not going to see much more than we've already have seen. And I think that you just take advantage as being a backup option whenever you need a rotation, and see if he can come in and at least the last 20 to 25 minutes be an option in the air, because that's what he's great at, or any chance that could be possibly created from the push that we're looking to do at the end to either tie a game or go for a victory.
Yeah, and I think the best thing to sum up what you just said with the mental aspect is the penalty that he took on Saturday. Like, you could tell immediately, just in his face, oh boy, I don't know if he's gonna make it. Like, it just like sometimes you just look at guys when they're like stepping up to the ball, stepping up to the spot when they're taking a kick, and it's just like,
remember when I brought this up a few weeks ago that it was a problem that like we didn't really have a PK taker when Correa missed that PK and
Yes,
Brunetta.
somebody said Ibanez would have made that.
Or Brunetta just being the ability to have that shot as well, as he was a PK taker in the past. Orlando, who has done it in the past, and we talked about the captaincy and the leadership there, that it's just kind of like, is someone out of the captains not willing to step up who have done it in the past. But I think it's definitely a big area of opportunity. I think penalty wise, I think Gignac's still our bet, if you had to tell me to shoot one. So
yeah.
it's just sucks that he's not around, because that would have been the perfect way to continue to score goals and count on a for sure or a higher percentage of being converted.
Right. Let's talk some positives. I think there's some positives that we can take. Very few. Parra continues to be solid. Nothing great, but he's doing the dirty work. We're getting the minutes there. What's the number at? I just had it saved on my phone earlier.
Are we
We're
still
not.
in last place?
No, we're not. We're in second
Santos
to
is in
last.
place now.
We are ahead of Santos by like 11 minutes. We're at 459. They have 448. So
Lou, what's best case scenario? Whose game does he resemble? Worst case scenario for him?
For who? For Parra?
Yeah, from someone in the past.
Best case scenario for him.
Mm-hmm. Player wise, whose career at Tigres?
Player wise, if he gets like a notch below Jesus Dueñas, I'm happy. If he gets a notch below Viniegra, it could be more realistic. But worst case scenario, he ends up being like Damian Torres and he ends up in Venados de Mazatlan or something like crazy. But no, I do like the kid. Like I'm with Dennis. I think he is good for his age. He's very mature. Like he's got very good vision. His passing is pretty good actually. I think he might be a better passer than Gorreran. Defensively, he's slightly better than Gorreran. He doesn't have the motor Gorreran has, but to me, he's got a high IQ, which helps for a 20-year-old kid to have that kind of IQ to be able to read that game. I think speaks well of him.
He definitely doesn't
You know,
go unnoticed.
the problem with him that you could say, well, typical Mexican player, right? They make it to a certain level, and then their mentality just doesn't allow them to get further up. He could end up being El Chaton or whatever. Where he has the body, he has the build, but just doesn't take care of his body and doesn't end up, amounting to anything. So to me, that's also important. Like, how well is he going to take care of his body? Is he going to be a true professional? So hopefully he continues to develop. I think he's still up in the air for me, but I think I'm more inclined to say he's going to be like a poor man Jesus Dueñas.
Yeah, right in that Mano Vinegra realm.
Yeah.
it's a good shout.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where's Chicha Sanchez?
He's going to get minutes for the Mundial, though, Alfred.
Oh,
Is he out
hallelujah.
there?
Yeah.
He's on the team.
He got the call up, and I think even if he doesn't play those, he does get some minutes, some kind of symbolic minutes amounted
Bro,
to
is that
Yeah.
the squad.
was that? I'm gonna start the conspiracy question. Was that negotiated? For him to get a call up?
Arnaldo,
Like,
man,
seriously, what merit does he have to be called up?
you take us down these paths, bro.
I'm just asking a question. Like, I just like to get it's a vibe check. What on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong?
Hey,
is the
we're never
possibility?
gonna get the Pasteleria Leti sponsorship, bro, if we continue down this route.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, but Alfred did ask the question. What merits it?
What merits his calling? Yeah, his call up.
I'm not willing to go on the record to answer that question, bro.
Fine, I'll say is that
I'm
us as a national team doesn't have that much talent right now. And he's one of the better ones.
Oh, Lou wasn't even able to stay present for even the conversation.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna be part of this conspiracy.
Oh man, it was just a question.
It's gonna be called the Chicha Gate.
Chicha Gate.
Chicha Gate is crazy. Oh no, he's back.
Se me fue el internet, bro. These questions, these hot questions, bro. Caused
you're back for
the
the Chicha
meltdown
Gate.
over here.
Back for the Chicha Gate. Come on.
I was hoping you guys had moved on already.
Nombre. Para nada.
Well, to answer your question, hopefully that's the case. He's busy with the national team and he's going to go to the Club World Cup. I know I had seen it that he was like on the list of being like in the final like calling.
Yeah.
But is he really an option at this point, or is he just a minutes guy that you can potentially just squeeze? Marcelo got called into the game or to the game sheet and still didn't play. So that means that all the opportunity or the chance at like creating something falls on the one El Heredero,
Yeah.
Antuna.
Release the Kraken.
Exactly.
We'll
I think
we'll
it's
circle
just-
back to them in a second, but yeah.
The options are just so limited, man.
Yeah. Another guy who's had a good week, I would say. Not amazing, not a world beater, but I think we have to give Marco Farfan some props. I think that he has done a very solid job in his position. Pretty solid defender. I know Lou talked about it last week with his offensive game being a little bit better than we thought. I don't feel like he's ever been caught out of position really anywhere. Like I feel like he's in mostly the right spot every time, and I think that he's been a pretty decent addition considering the fact that we had a better option that we wanted to get at left back in Rosales. But I mean,
Guys,
for
how bad are we when we have mid players, literally mid players, and we're giving them their flowers and saying, well, they're not bad. It's oh man, this is crazy.
I mean, it's the state of the team, unfortunately, but
Bro, that's gonna be the fourth or fifth spot on occasion until we spend. Maybe the sixth spot.
Farfan is good because he's better than Osby Rodriguez, bro.
exactly,
Literally, like
exactly.
and perhaps he's like more sober than a right-footed playing on the left side Garza. So it's you can't expect much.
I am curious though, with Farfan playing decent right now, with Aquino struggling, with Garza at some point needed to move to right back, and now that Angulo's back in the fray and has been decent in his. Did he play both games this week or did he just play Saturday? I can't
He
remember.
subbed
He
in with
came in
Chivas.
sub. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
he played
subbed
both. Okay.
Joaquin.
Okay. So now that he's back, there is a little bit more depth there, in quotation marks, depth in that defensive line. Does Angulo go straight back into his normal spot? Is he a center back? How does that
Does Pizarro go into a line of 5 again?
right? Or do we go 3-4-3? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a couple different ways this goes. Somebody bring their arguments to the table as to what should be, now that Angulo's back and healthy, what should be the line in the back going forward.
Well, we talked about it last week. We think Pizarro is not convinced with anybody besides the few that we've mentioned, right? Like Nahuel is solid, Zwarg has been solid, Correa obviously. But I think every other position he's flexible on pretty much. I think he's kind of married to Aquino because this is his last season. But I think he's going to continue to give the squad some sort of rotation until he finds the combination that he likes. I do think that Aquino is beneficial to the squad in that position because Lainez depends on him a lot. Like Lainez, I've come to the realization that is less of a player without Aquino helping him out. Aquino does a lot of work for him, facilitates a lot of things for him. And so I think there's sort of a symbiotic relationship right there that Pizarro is going to probably continue to exploit because Aquino does a lot of that dirty work to be able to get Lainez some productivity. But who knows what Pizarro would do. At this point, I don't feel like he has the tools at his disposal to be able to play 5 at the back. So to me, I just don't see that happening. I mean, he could try it out. I just don't think he has the combinations there to be able to make it work.
I think I'm just willing to be surprised at this point. Like, I'm open to it just because I do agree with what you say about Aquino, and also want to point out that it's always like, what is he still doing in there? And yet he was out this past game, opportunity given, nothing really to improve
Changed.
upon or change.
And arguably our worst game of the season, that one and the Miami one, I think.
So I think that people just expect this guy to be like, like he's 28 flying down the flank and defending like if he was a true right back. He's been in that position for a while, yes, but ultimately he was a right winger that he was turned into a left winger, played left back, and then now made a career playing right back the last 3-4 years, not more at times. And so he's just a guy that's willing to do it. Obviously, he's going to make mistakes. I think at this point, there's also been a lot of unfortunate things, not necessarily like wrong fundamentals per se. And I think that he just gets blamed for a lot of unnecessary like faultness. And so I think that, moving forward is I'm more than willing to happy to give Garza the spot and the opportunity, but it's also been given to him. And like I mentioned in the past, 5 coaches and 5 coaches that start him and then eventually move him to the bench without like consistent playing time starting. So something's got to give at some point, and really acknowledge like, look yourself in the mirror and what else can you be doing to make sure that you improve upon your game. Because at the end of the day, like one went to Europe, and failure or not, he went to Europe and played multiple teams, came back and is a champion and a legend of the squad. So I feel like, it's just so easy to talk about it and blame it on him. Like we have a ton of options ready to rock and roll and like be better than what he is.
Yeah, like we had Trent Alexander-Arnold back there or something on the bench.
Yeah, dude. Like, tranquilos.
He goes by Trent now, Lou. Come on. He doesn't have his last name on the back of his jersey.
What about our boy Cordova, Alfred? How do we feel about his performances?
Oh man, I mean, what is he coming off of? Like maybe 6-7 games where he hadn't appeared. Like
6,
what do we
7.
Oh come on, man! My
Get
kids
out
are
of here,
doing that, bro.
Dennis.
Come on.
Oh, you walked
Oh,
into
man.
it. You walked right into it.
I literally did not know I was walking into it. Just, I mean, what do you expect out of a player coming on, that hasn't had any minutes, throughout the season? It's just like if, we're talking about, even if we're saying jokingly, if Pizarro tries different things and he brings on Antuna next game, like, what do you expect out of him? You don't expect him to all of a sudden carry the team, do you?
Yeah.
So yes, and Cordova did carry the team at one point, but everything that has happened over the last, year and a half, 2 years, with him, having basically given the opportunity to lead this team, and then getting that opportunity just taken from him and bringing somebody else in his position. Just the way that he's been not negotiated, but I guess he's obviously not being renovated either, his contract. So like there's a whole bunch of things going in the back of his head and in his life that he's probably not. He's not set on, hey, I'm going to give it my all and potentially risk an injury, for a team that I'm only here for, another 3 months.
So he's moved on.
That's the way I see it. I think that he's moved on.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just finishing out the professionalism in him, and that's respectable alone. So I do believe that
it does say a lot that even though that, his mentality is not there, and we know that he's not 100% there, he still gets more of a chance than Antuna. What does that say about Antuna or Marcelo?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think he's the most talented out of the 3, like easily. So I think it's, he's moved on. He's willing to do whatever it takes. But I think that, like you said, he's just checked out. Like he knows that he's not going to be here long. It's definitely not happening for a chance for a renewal. It didn't really pan out for him to, be the leader of the team like it was at some point projected to be. The only like thing I have against it is, I think that he definitely became smaller when Brunetta came around, and I think that it's a mentality issue. He felt obviously threatened, and him alone gave up to the competition and giving him the spot. Were they measure with the same, standards? You can argue against it. But ultimately, I think he gave us what he already gave us, and we've talked about it. He peaked it, and ultimately, gotta be thankful and grateful for that run that he put together. But over time, it was demonstrated that he was just not gonna take that leadership role and be a top 2, top 3 player on the team.
One of these days, we need to do an episode like a what if series, And one of the what if questions we could ask is what if Brunetta never came? Like what would have happened to Cordova had Brunetta never came? Like would he have become the star of the team?
And there's so many what ifs. What if Coca
You know?
never came and Ibanez has never signed?
Right.
Like, I mean,
What if
there's
Siboldi never left? Right.
But we
Like,
never win the cup if he doesn't come.
what if Torrado didn't came and Antuna wasn't signed? Like,
yeah. We can do so many what ifs on the last 2 years alone. Good grief.
Dang, I was gonna ask Lou what is best case Cordova from the past career wise. What do you think, Alfred?
I think we'd have to go like national though, right? Not
Not
Adidas. I think you know who he reminds me of, bro? You remember El Venado Medina?
Yeah.
He had like a career. Yeah, he had a career where like he was like at some moment like prospected to be like the star of Mexico, right? And he had the talent for it, right? And then all of a sudden he dipped, and I think he also suffered an injury, right? And then he just never came back from it. But I just feel like he maxed out at like 2-3 great years, and then the rest of his career was just lackluster. And that's what Cordova reminds me of.
I was gonna ask Lou. I kind of get Gringo Torres vibes.
Yeah, I kind of feel that too a little bit.
I think Gringo Torres ends up having more cups because he won some at Pachuca. Obviously, Cordova much more talented, but career-wise, and he could have been so good. I just don't know if he has more to give, even with any other team. But
yeah,
unfortunate.
AJ, how big has Nahuel been this week? Like we don't get 2 points out of these 2 games without him, right?
No, definitely. He's definitely saved us these past 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm just still frustrated with the performances, but yeah, he definitely saved us the past 2 weeks. I know like he's getting up there in age, so it's sooner or later he's not going to be able to make those saves. So
I don't know. I feel like at the goalie position, they could extend their playing age pretty far. I remember what Conejo Perez. I think he played until he was like 43 years old or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
So, and Conejo Perez was like thick and short, like couldn't jump. So
Nahuel's in shape, dude.
Nahuel is in shape, bro.
So, we'll definitely see.
Obviously, if there was more talent behind him, like somebody would have sat him down already, and there isn't. There just isn't. I don't think there's more talent in the whole league. Period.
Yeah, dude. The guy's still in the conversation for like the best goalie in the league. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see him finally save a pen.
Yeah.
Great.
Especially after like there had been a lot of conversations that he wasn't saving penalties anymore. And then I also saw somebody tweeted how his 200 games of keeping the score in 0. If we were talking about a striker, right? About scoring 200 goals in 500 games, like it's a great career, right? It's like an amazing career, right? Like not a lot of strikers make 200 goals in their career. So I mean, the fact that this is a goalkeeper, keeping his goal from 200 goals, it's amazing.
Yeah, he definitely holds the record already for the most as a foreign player. I don't think he holds it as an all-time yet. I think he's still chasing that or was chasing that. But I think as of like 160, 170, around there, he became the all-time. And I could probably even be wrong and go back to like 150, 160-ish. But he's been ongoing, like breaking his own record with time.
And there's I think there's like 3 or 4 other goalkeepers that have reached the 200 mark, but they've reached it with a lot more games, like 600, 700 more games in their
career. Do you remember the guy that used to do the like stats for like La Jugada or Acción? Ricardo Salazar.
Yeah, Ricardo Salazar. Yeah, I think he tweeted that.
So he was like, we praise a guy that has the record for over 1,000 goals scored against, thinking that he's the best the league has ever seen. But here we have a guy that has 200 shutouts and arguably is the best in the league. and then
Diego Ochoa. I don't
yeah,
know if you
and then
caught that, Dennis.
yeah, and so then Miguel Angel, parody account, like tweeted back at it saying, "¿Quién es el señor Salazar?" And he was, he went on giving it a whole
Yeah,
like
yeah.
line of compliments. It was great.
That's
Oh,
great.
man.
We still have some a ton of talent there. Nothing really to complain about there.
For sure. Okay, last question about last couple games, and then we can move on. Actually, it's not even a question. I'm just gonna make a statement, and y'all can agree with me or not. The blue jersey is cursed.
I
It's
haven't even
cursed.
kept up with it.
It's cursed.
What's our stat line with it?
We've only won, I think, the game against. I think we won the game against Santos
Did we play with it with the
in
Dynamo?
Houston, but that's it.
Dynamo, yeah.
2 wins and like 4 or 5 draws and a loss, I think.
There's only one kit curse that I believe in, or at least kit luck that I believe in, and that is the one that says we will only be champions if we have Tigres on our chest.
Facts.
We've only been champions with Tigres on our chest, and as long as we don't have Tigres on our chest, we haven't been champions. So
True. All I'm saying is that we haven't won the last 2 games with that jersey, and it's already 50% off at the outlet in Houston.
Yeah. Tigres Jersey sent me that message today. That's wild.
send
it
That's
to
so
me too.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to get it for me, Arnoldo.
Dude, I'm leaving tomorrow to Monterrey, so
man.
I doubt it
Next time.
lasts until I come back.
I'm sure
50% off, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can get the fan one for like $50.
Dude, that is wild. I might have to send.
Great discount.
I might have to send someone on an errand.
Do you a little favor.
It's a great
Uh,
discount.
It is. It is. It's very fitting for that jersey. Okay, let's
I have
move
one
on.
last.
Sorry, go
I have
ahead.
one last. Yeah, we got to touch base on Correa. We got to touch base
Oh
on Correa.
yeah, hallelujah! Thank God.
Obviously, we can't say enough about his participation. With goals in the games. I tweeted about it how he's basically contributed to 7 points out of the 16 that we've had this season. If he hadn't contributed with those goals, right now we wouldn't even be in the play-in conversation, right?
Salud.
So, obviously Correa came in and he came in playing from the get-go, decided to carry this team. I very much remember asking when Correa was coming along or when the news was brought up, what we were going to expect out of Correa. And I remember, saying I would expect him to carry this team, sort of like Lucas Lobos did, sort of like, Gaitan or maybe even Guignac did at some moment. And I know a lot of people said, no, he's just gonna be a team player. He's gonna contribute. He's gonna add on. No, he's carrying the team. Like now, people are comparing him to Lucas Lobos because it's literally him and everybody else. And I would go as far as saying that at the end of the season, I don't care who's captain, they need to give him the captaincy because he's the one that's showing the attitude. Who else do you see, taking a strike at goal and then running, to go get the rebound for his own strike? It's only him. And then, a missed penalty. And out of all the guys that are, lined up behind the box, he's the one that gets there. Like it takes balls. It takes the right type of attitude that I only wish that everybody else would have on the team. So
I'll say this though, we do need to be careful with the player worship. Um, I,
oh no,
I,
it's
I
not a
love
worship,
I
but
love the
it's right now it's a
guy.
dependency. It's a dependency.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. I think there's a lot going on in the media and on social media. Um, like yeah, he's an amazing player, but he hasn't done anything for us yet. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying it shouldn't be applauded. I'm just saying we've had players like Diablo Nunez who played amazing, played hard, and never got anything out of it. Um, and every great player at this institution has had a slump and then has been criticized by by the fans. So what I want to see from our fans is, are you going to support him when he does go through that slump? Because it's going to happen eventually, where he's not going to find the back of the net, where he's going to not dribble correctly, when he's going to have a rough 6 or 7 game stretch where he's not clicking. How are we
Like
going to
what's
treat him?
happening right now with Gignac.
Well, unfortunately, with Gignac, it's been going on for years. Not the entire fan base, but a good portion of the fan base has been for the last 3, maybe 4 years already wanting to retire him. And and look what happens when you do treat players like that. It's sort of a cautionary tale because they were so quick to say retire this guy and hand the baton over to Nico Ibanez, not realizing later how much contribution he was making to the team. And then look how much he's given to the squad, and arguably nobody's given as much as he has. And look at how a lot of people are treating him, wanting him to go out the back door, wanting to retire him early. So to me, yeah, like right now, fans can be clapping and enjoying it. Yeah, enjoy the moment, absolutely. But those same people, I want them supporting him when things get rough for him, because they will get rough for him. And another thing that I don't approve of is a lot of the comments being made, because you say, oh, it's Correa and 10 other players. It's not entirely true. We've got an amazing goalkeeper. We have a decent back line. Let's just say we're the best defense in the league, and we have a really good player in Romulo Suarez. Uh, Dennis mentioned Parra. So, I think we're diminishing a lot of the contributions some of the players are making. I think there is a lot of room for criticism. Obviously, our forwards are a mess right now. Our wingers are a mess right now. But I think a lot of the praise that's happening with Correa is at the expense of some really good players. So I think we just need to be careful, more balanced with that.
Well said. It's a good point. All right. This week, 2 games again. Starting with Wednesday night at El Volcan. Looks like one of us here on this, actually 2 of us here on this here panel tonight will be attending. So hopefully you guys will be our good luck charms. Looking at you, Alfred and Arnoldo.
Please,
It's clear that
please send
I'm not a bad luck charm because I didn't go to last game and we still didn't win, so wasn't me.
Alfred. Alfred, please send Diego Coca our regards.
No, you don't.
Bro, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, dude.
Please
You just made me
be
aware
very,
that I
very,
forgot he's with them.
be very loud,
I
please.
forgot.
AKA
Bro,
throw a
that just
beer at his head. What? I'm not
it,
endorsing that.
it just makes me want to like I'm
Put a
gonna go
little
buy a
extra
cardboard
juice
right now.
in those chants,
No,
bro.
I'm gonna buy a cardboard. I'm gonna buy a marker. I kind of know what I'm gonna do already.
Andale.
If
Andale.
y'all see on TV, somebody getting handcuffed and taken out of the stands, not me.
Not you is crazy. Just be sure whatever sign you make, just put your little logo on there at some
Right.
in like a corner. That'd be great. So that's Wednesday night. That is a 8 p.m. kickoff for all you people who live in Texas. Um, it's a home game, so it's on Estrella, Fox. I believe it's not on Telemundo proper. I think it's on Universo this week, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That's the Wednesday night game, and then Sunday, a trip to Queretaro, who currently sit in 17th place in the table, and that game is Sunday night at, I don't remember the time because my FOTMA map is being very slow. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. on Sunday, so a little bit earlier kickoff. And I don't know where we're gonna be able to stream that. TUDN maybe? Are they a TUDN team?
They're a caliente team, but I think Vix has the rights.
Ah, good grief. Drinker! About time, pal! On the good channels, he says, referring to the home game on Wednesday. Where you been, bro? Chat been dead. Now we can actually have a lively chat. Okay, so do we expect more of the same lineup wise? Do we expect some changes? Is he going to try and plug somebody in who maybe can can do something. I've got some ideas. Not great ideas, but I've got some ideas on what I think the lineup should be. But what are y'all's ideas?
I think that I'd like to see Angulo get included in the starting lineup. For a fact, I think that I'm just not sure if Purata being in the equation there, and then Schwarg obviously has been riding good momentum and has
Do we
been.
know if Joaquim is going to be back from his
Yeah,
injury?
exactly. Even if he is though, like now you really do have an alternative, and I think he's more fond of returning Angulo into the lineup. I think that he's played with Angulo, he knows what Angulo can give him, and he's been able to transition and play at center back and be able to play left back. But I think he's gonna more than likely ride the momentum of Farfan as well, even if we are not great or happy with him being the only selection there and being okay and content with his performances. I think he stays there with Angulo being the left center back. I'm just curious about the right center back, who that might be.
If I'm Pizarro, which I'm not, and I don't think he'll do this, but I'm not playing. If Gignac's not fully fit, I'm not playing with the Knight anymore this season. You're not.
We running
You're,
the Correa forward
I
bit.
I know I'm back to what I said pre match against Chivas, but I just don't see a point in playing with a 9. Um, Gacelo, you guys were so desperate for Gacelo. You wanted my boy Nico out of there. And I told you, you're just trading one set of problems for another. You got nothing out of Gacelo, bro. Nothing, absolutely nothing. He started the last 5 games in a row. Look at the results. This last game, he had 7 touches in 60 plus minutes. 7 touches. I mean, I'm not saying Nico's any better. Nico came in and had 5 touches. But there's no point. I mean, if you're gonna play with Gacelo or even in give him 60 minutes and you give 30 to Nico and they both touch the ball 12 times the entire game, what's the point? Why are you even gonna have them? There's really no point.
So what do you go with, Lucas? In the experiment we had where we had Correa as a striker against Chivas, Cordova was brought in, right?
I would
Um,
stick with Cordova. Look, at the very least, you're putting less miles on Correa. At the very least. And
um,
honestly, that first half against Chivas wasn't too bad. We didn't generate a ton of shots, but we controlled the game through possession. We had the ball. We had like nearly 70% possession in that first half. The team didn't start kind of like falling apart until we started making all those weird subs. But to me, that's the scenario where you put less miles on Correa, who's been your best striker, and maybe you get him in healthy into because dude, at this point we're gonna continue running him into the ground. He's gonna get injured. There's no way he can play at that level of intensity for that many games this season without sustaining an injury. So at least Cordova eases a little bit of that load of having to drop so far deep to get the ball, to then push up, distribute, try to get the ball back. You get Cordova to do some of that dirty work for him, and maybe perhaps they start clicking. You said it perfectly. He hasn't played, so don't expect him to come in and be awesome the first time around he gets a start. So why not give him another start? Let's see how that plays out. It's not popular with the fans. I think the fans were kind of
And Lou, we
disappointed
trust.
that he did it. But I think to me that's
and I think obviously, I mean, they were trying things, right, and he sat down. Who did he sat down for Chivas? Gorriaran? No, Bruneta. He
no
sat down
Gorri.
Bruneta, so no, he sat down Gorriaran, right? So he
Yeah,
had
Gorri
Bruneta in there with Parra.
with Parra.
I mean, what if now you try the same striker, with Cordova behind him, and then instead of having Bru, you have Gorriaran and Parra.
Well, actually, no. The Chivas game was Parra, Gori, and Bruneta all starting together, which is what I think
Okay.
Lou's implying here. That's what I would
It's
do.
because he also sat down Ociel, and that's where
Yes,
Cordova came in.
yes, so that's where Sebastian came in.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that would be what I would do if I'm Pizarro. I would run that again. Not that it led to
Okay.
great success, but I would have. Your back line is Farfan, Angulo. I'm with Arnoldo on that front with plugging Jesus back in immediately and give him the armband too. Like he should
Oh,
be the
wow.
captain. Give him the captaincy. Like
Yeah.
I'm tired of this Gorriaran Brunetta bull crap. Like they're not offering anything as captains. I'm sorry. Romulo and then Aquino. That's your back line of 4. Parra Gorri as the 2 and the pivot. Bru as the 10. Cordova on the left side. Correa as the 9. And I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna say Antuna on the right.
Oh
I mean,
no.
you might as well. What is Linus giving you? What is Linus giving you at this point? Nothing. Nothing. You might as well try. If it doesn't work, you take him off at halftime.
Come on, Dennis. He was good like all the way up until like the LAFC game.
Yeah, that was like a month ago, big dog.
But I mean, come on. You're gonna pull Inez, who's at least had 5 or 6 good games, for Antuna, who hasn't given you anything in 2 years.
And I think Lou is right. I mean, his drop in form coincides with Aquino's drop in form. It's like, when Aquino's not playing right,
That's
like
fair.
he's not supporting him, the way he should, and Linus drops in form as well.
But if we're talking about managing minutes too, like Linus doesn't need to be playing 90 minutes every game either, right? Like you got to do some sort of rotation there, I feel like. So maybe you don't do it on Wednesday. Maybe you plug Antuna in on Sunday against a weaker opponent. That's probably better, honestly. But I would like to see that at some point. Just see what happens. And again, if it doesn't work, you take him off at halftime.
And Querétaro, a weaker opponent that just beat Pachuca with Ener Valencia.
Well, Pachuca's also awful, so they've got a fraud of a coach. AJ, are you in agreement with this Correa as the 9-bit, or would you actually have one of the actual strikers in there?
I'd have Correa at the 9, and then but I would switch Cordova and Brunetta. I'd have Brunetta playing behind Correa and have Cordova playing on the left.
Okay.
My back line would be different. I would put Angulo on the left back. If Joaquin can play with Romulo on the as a center back pairing, I think that they could be potentially our best center back pairing. And then I'd have Garza at the right. And then I agree with the pivot with Parra and Fernando. But that's what I would do.
Okay. We all have differing opinions. I like this. Threedger.
I would bring in Gignac.
Ah, man.
Is he ready though?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't know.
Is he?
I mean, here's the thing though. He had a minor, apparently, injury where it was just like his knee was hurting or whatever. He was rested. He was rested all week, and pictures that came out or videos that came out of training today, like he's running full throttle. Like we've said it. Gacelo, Ibanez, they're not bringing anything to the table, right? And Correa technically has shown his best form when he has a striker in front of him. So why not have Gignac there?
Ve darle una sobada, bro, Mr. Miyagi style.
I would love that so much. Threedger, to answer your question, you missed this part of the conversation earlier. Thoughts on Chicho? We need minutes. He's going to the U20 World Cup, so he'll get us some minutes by proxy there. So we won't see him for a while, but he'll at least contribute, and that should hopefully take a little bit of the load off Parra to some degree. On Sunday, I would like to see Gignac definitely start that, just because he hasn't started a road game for us in what feels like forever, and boy, do we struggle on the road to score. Boy, do we struggle on the road. So I would definitely like to see that on Sunday. If it happens on Wednesday, great. But I think if he can start from the offset on Sunday, that'd be great. Any thoughts on either matchup? I mean, as you just mentioned, Querétaro is coming off a win against Pachuca. I don't know how Atlas is doing, so I can't tell you, but I know Coca's back, so like maybe there's some stuff there with how he could try and neutralize us at home. Just thoughts on those matchups ahead of the week.
Atlas hasn't been doing good. They had 2 draws against Mazatlan and Santos, and then prior to that they lost against Pumas and America. So they obviously losing it. I mean, or tying against Santos. What does that say of them? We really got to take advantage of this week. We lost points last week. We literally lost points last week because we should have at least brought home maybe 4 points out of the six. And it didn't happen on either of those games. So in these two games, we have to get wins. Like if we aspire to do anything this season, we got to have 6 for 6 this week.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're really talking playing
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
back
no,
half of the
not,
schedule's bad.
but not just we're talking playing. We're talking about like there's no hope for this team. If we don't get wins out of these next two games, there's no hope.
I still think like our biggest issue continues to be the mental aspect. Um, and Pizarro
And that's
desperately
Pizarro's job to fix that.
desperately needs to look at that and help out. Honestly, like as far as X's and O's is concerned, I have full trust in Pizarro, man. I know everybody wants him gone. Like not everybody, but there's a good sector of the fan base that wants to push him out and wants to go for the next hot coach.
David Molina.
El Pollito, shout out to El Pollito. But it's like it's pointless to get rid of a good coach who has a ton of potential. To me, tactically, he's sound. I mean, he's a good coach. He's a true professional. But I think if he doesn't take care of the mental aspect with the squad, I think he's gonna. We went through this bad juju with Chima Ruiz, and it ended up ruining his tenure. And I'm just afraid that if what Alfred said, we don't go and get some good results in these next couple, 2, 3 games, it's gonna go south for him, and then yeah, eventually they'll pull the plug on him, and it's sad
And
because
and the way
he's a good coach.
and the way this front office works, they might even pull the plug before the Clásico, which would make things way worse.
Yeah, and it would be just so sad, dude. It'd just be
Yep.
another tragedy, another casualty of circumstances, of bad circumstances. So I hope that he sits the guys down, takes a little bit of the pressure off of them, and then the guys that need a little push, give them that extra push. I mean, I still believe in the guys. I still believe that when we all play up to our potential, that they're a competitive squad. They might not be top two, top three, but can definitely be in that 4 to 5 range. And right now, as we sit, it's not all lost. We're tied for fifth place. You put together a good string of wins these next 2 games, you're back in that top 4 conversation. So I think it's important. It's a really critical juncture for us.
Facts, Drieger.
Yeah,
Lose the
for real.
Directiva than our DT. I do have a shout out I need to give to somebody who's commented who is not Drieger. Shout out Lupe Trevino saying, "What up, fam? Howdy, howdy, sir. Thank you for joining us." First
Yeah,
I will
Twitter
so
say
comment
one
of the night.
Alfred said if we do fire Pizarro before the Clásico, it's gonna set this club back further. Like honestly,
Oh
like
yeah.
we're slowly getting an identity with Pizarro. If you fire him, all that work that he's put in, it's gonna set the club back further. And then we don't even know the impact it would have on the players here currently, because that would be what the fifth manager in 4 years, in 5 years. Like I
yeah,
compared it to United. That's honestly what it is. Like
Yep.
we spend, the players don't perform, we fire the manager. So we need to write it out with Pizarro. It's all on the board. Honestly, the ball's in their court on how the future of this club goes.
but I mean the ball is in the players' court. It's this week, like Lou said, this is the juncture. This is critical. Just to give you guys a rundown of our calendar, okay? After this week, we're literally facing the weakest opponents this week with Atlas and Querétaro, because then we go, we receive Cruz Azul, and then we go play at Necaxa, and then we go play at Pachuca. We receive Tijuana, who are not playing bad, and then we go play at Rayados, and then end our season with San Luis at home. So it's not like those last 6 games, there's maybe 2 that are like winnable, and the rest are like, oh my god, they're gonna be tough.
Yeah, no kidding.
Part of me still desperately wants to believe that a deal was struck sometime before the transfer window, in which I mean this I'm just wishful thinking, but they told Pizarro no matter what happens this season, you're sticking around and we're gonna get you players next season. Just stay on the script, stay on the script, say what you
Don't
need
say
to
nothing.
say, don't say anything crazy, don't stir the pot. And I mean, like I said, it's wishful thinking because you can't trust their word. I mean, look at the way they did Siboldi. You can't trust their word. Look at how they did Tuca too. So, but I mean, somewhere something had to have been said. Hey, we got you. Don't worry about it. Just do your best, and then we'll get reinforcements.
I hope so. I mean, the fact that we'll probably have, at this rate, with how the Banyas saga is going, we're probably going to have 2 open foreign slots. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. I don't know though. Kick us off with our predictions, my friend. Give me both games, both Wednesday and Sunday.
I believe that we're gonna win on Wednesday and Sunday. I think it's even though we haven't played our best, I think we're gonna pull off the results due to the quote unquote inferior superior opponents. So I'm going 2-0 on Wednesday at home, and then Querétaro on the road 1-0.
Goal scorers.
I think I'm going to see Correa score at El Volcan on Wednesday, and I'm going to see more than likely Brunetta, and hoping to pick up some form there. And then I'm going to ride Correa on that one chance of goal on that Sunday against Querétaro.
Okay. AJ.
I'll go 1-0 against Atlas. Correa scores that one. And then I'll go 2-0 for Querétaro. Correa and I'll give Ibanez a shot. I think he comes off the bench and scores against Querétaro.
This is a
Lupop.
man that knows his stuff. To me, Wednesday is going to be a game that the fans win for us in the sense that there is a lot of pent up anger there. I think the fans are going to be loud. They're going to give us that push that we need. It's going to be a magical night at El Volcan. I think it's going to be a big one, man. I think it's going to be like a 3-0 game. Not Nico, Correa brace, and then like a Nico golazo or something. I think it'll be a big one. I think the crowd's really going to be in it right from the get go. Uh, so I think it's going to be a good one. And then I think we'll have a slow game again against Querétaro, like maybe like 1-0. Probably Correa again. So, but yeah, I think Wednesday night is one reserved for the fans.
Alfred.
Bringing that
When
good
Lou
juice.
predicted that 3-0, I thought he was gonna say hat trick incoming.
Hat trick incoming.
Oh man, those high hopes on Nico, huh?
Se
All
acabó,
right.
bro. It's over.
I think that we do win on Wednesday. I think though it's going to be tight. I do think that Atlas can still fight for it. We might be looking at a 1-1, and then towards the end, the crowd pushes for the win, and we get a 2-1 win. And I'm actually hoping to have a better result against Querétaro. Like I hope that the motivation gets back in the team with a win on Wednesday. That it carries on into Sunday, and they give us a good 2-0, like comfortable victory at Querétaro. Goal scorers, I think I would go with Correa, obviously, in both games, and I would put my confidence in Ociel to score one, and I think a defender one might come through with a score as well. Maybe Swarg could be.
I'm gonna say 2-1 on Wednesday. I think we'll be fine, and then we'll give up a stupid goal at the end. Correa and Angulo, my goal scorers. Angulo Rocket, maybe, perhaps. And then Sunday's gonna be ugly, like so ugly. Gignac scores though, and we win 1-0. That's
Ooh,
my
that would be beautiful.
Sunday
be
prediction.
beautiful.
Threeker though, 2-0 on Wednesday, 1-1 on Sunday. What is wrong with you,
We don't need that. We can't have that.
dog?
Push us to a dub. Push us to a dub on Sunday.
Please, please, and thank you. Okay, real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Tigres Femenil played a game last week, and it was frustrating. It was a
They played?
0-0 draw. Yeah, exactly. 0-0 draw at Juarez after scoring goals like crazy for fun the last few weeks. The well dried up for the girls. Thoughts on that performance? Anybody who watched the game? Because I
Let
only
me
watched
guess.
clips of it.
Mercado controlled that midfield.
Wouldn't shock me.
I
It
told
happens
him we
all the
shouldn't have let
time,
her
bro.
go. We shouldn't have let her
Happens all
go.
the time.
I feel like that's also like an opponent that like it's not at times the easiest either. I would love to see the what the results are against them specifically, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think I really can't recall like us really walking all over them.
No, and they always get up for us. Always get up for us. So and then it when we play at their place, it's always a trap game for us. And then this game, our midfield, they weren't sharp. Our passing was awful, man. It was really frustrating. It's not so much, uh, you know, that Juarez was doing something to mess up the passing. It's just that we pretty much did it to ourselves. But to give some credit to Juarez, they did press really well, and they pressed really well throughout the night. I think it goes back to what I've been saying is that uh, when you play a really athletic midfield where you're facing really speedy defenders, this team tends to struggle. They do not like to get pressed, and then that forces errors on our part, and the passing just wasn't sharp enough for us to really to do anything. We missed Themby a lot in that game as well. So not having an option up on that right wing killed us.
Who played
And
instead of
just
Themby?
Olivieri, I believe. Yeah, so I mean, she's not bad. She's actually better than I thought she would be, and she's done pretty good. But we definitely missed Themby's speed. I think it helps a lot when we go on the counter to be able to have balls into that space, and for her to be able to receive and distribute or receive and shoot. So we missed that a lot. But to be honest, I think Hermoso wasn't up to par. Just our midfield didn't look sharp at all.
I have a question. Do we know how far along Mari Carmen Reyes is in her recovery?
She's
I mean,
been
she should be
training.
close.
She's been
I
training
mean,
with the
because
squad, but
I felt like when we were talking about her injury, and her coming back, we were talking about like September, October.
Yeah, she should be very close because I mean it's right around the time frame since she got hurt. As
yeah,
far as like what an injury like or typically those injuries last, and she has been practicing like Lou said, so I would suspect maybe a month and a half at most.
ready for Liguilla,
Yeah,
perhaps.
and I think that's what they
Hopefully.
said last year, right? That was the prediction. Should be ready for Liguilla.
Exactly. I
Man,
still
isn't that
don't
going to be
know
great?
if Pedro Losa is gonna make the tough decision of removing Hermoso to play Mari Carmen
I
Reyes
mean, not
in her
removing,
place.
but it'll add the depth and
Yeah,
give us another option.
Yeah,
Well, you can plug her in anywhere too. But what a addition she's going to be when she comes back. She's going to feel like a new signing in the middle of October, which is great. So I really hope that happens sooner than later. They play again on the Friday of this week at home against Leon. Late game, 9 p.m. kickoff for all you sickos who want to watch on Estrella and hear Pello um, commentate. Hopefully that's a straightforward win. I don't know how Leon is doing in the standings. Lou, do you know?
they're usually a bottom of the table team. So I'll look right now, but I think they're probably like in 11th place or something. But yeah, they're
Ninth
not
place.
they're not a They're not a very good team.
Well, we play better at home too, so hopefully that's a smooth
Ten-
sailing win.
10th place, right? 10th place,
Ninth
place.
place right now.
9th place.
And we're sitting
And
we're
first,
sitting in first. Pachuca has a game in hand, but they're 3 points behind regardless. So hopefully that trend continues for the girls. Anything else that I'm missing? It's weird not having
Please,
it
no
out,
more,
man.
no more rain delays, please.
Facts. Please. The only thing that I saw today was the I said it in our big group thread, but it was the official, or I guess the almost official green light about the kid coming over from Botafogo. Simeone.
Enrique or something like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much wrapped up, but other than that, it's like pretty it's just games. There's no transfer news to talk about anymore because transfer was just done. We didn't do crap. So
We're not bitter at all.
us bitter? La Bitter Times podcast, perhaps? Can you imagine? Anything else?
All good, my friend.
I just want some choco flan. I've been thinking about choco flan for the last hour and a half. So
No, I'm thinking about the Mendes chicharrón I'm gonna be eating on Wednesday, man.
woo! Me next
Me and
Saturday.
Arnoldo, we're gonna do a live munching on some Mendes chicharrón.
Oh, bro, me next Saturday when I get down there. Hopefully I find somebody to go with because my aunt today, my tia was like, "Yeah, I would go with you, but I'm going to a quinceañera." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll join you after, but I'm gonna go to this game first." So turn into a party animal afterwards because you know how that goes. Me, the party animal. Not.
The life of the party.
Maybe, perhaps. Alrighty, that's it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you joined us live, if you're listening on a podcast later, thank you for listening. Follow all of us on socials. If you're watching live, you can check out our handles on the screen. If you are listening or watching later, check out the description on YouTube or the show notes on Spotify, Apple, if you're listening on Pod. We will be back next week, probably on our normal Tuesday rhythm, but we had to do tonight because your boys got a long rehearsal tomorrow night till like almost 11. So we'll be back at some point next week to recap. Hopefully 2 victories for the fellas. Again, I want to see 50 subscribers to the YouTube channel by the end of the week. So help us get there. We're like 15 away. Subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't already. Do it right now, like as you're listening to this. And thank you so much for being here. Until next time, arriba la U. Fellas, thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Take care, guys.